50 Cent has been working on this documentary for almost 2 years. The footage he has is insane. The people he got speaking about Diddy is ridiculous. And on top of that, the only place he agrees to do the interview, Rob, if you can show this, he goes and interviews with ABC. And there's an Instagram post he put up, Rob. I don't know if you have that or not. If you go on his Instagram account, he goes and does the interview about Diddy's documentary on ABC.
We have to talk about Tupac, which I wasn't committed to, but then I watched the doc. So
didn't know you were getting that.
You have a lot of people saying stuff in there that makes it sound like maybe he was responsible for that murder. Which has never been proven. That's a very serious thing.
But you have PPD and over in Vegas now, getting ready to go on trial for that case, saying those things.
Who shot Tupac?
I already know who shot. I believe in karma. I believe in all of that. We are here today to announce the arrest of CPD for the murder of Tupac Shakur.
Burn, motherfucker, you deserve to die. Talking about you getting money, but it's funny to me. All you niggas living for me while you fucking with me.
Right after I heard Tupac got shot, and I was so weak, I damn near fell over. I immediately flew to Vegas, and I walked in the room, and I seen him laid out on the bed with all kind of tools in him. And his mom came over to me, and she grabbed me, she held me up, and she said, "Baby, you got to be strong." And I went and sat next to him and whispering to him, telling him I loved him and to hold on and he was gonna be okay. And even in that moment, his mom was thinking more about me than herself and showing me how to love strong.
I told you can't trust these. Now, Puffy don't keep Tupac, man.
50 Cent went on stage last year and said this.
Maybe I said it because he got Tupac.
You know, and I know, that everyone believes that Diddy was involved in both these shootings and had a direct involvement in your brother's death. That is what the streets have said for 27 years. That's why 50 Cent said it. That's why Eminem has said similar stuff. Would you be comfortable saying that you believe Diddy had nothing to do with it?
No, I wouldn't be comfortable saying that because I don't know. If you look at all the theories, the theory involving him is quite high on the list.
Ron, any comments? Any comments on the trial so far? Any opening statements?
He's having his day.
He's having his day?
He's having his day. We trust the justice system.
Thank you, sir.
Netflix's latest doc dives deep into Tupac Shakur's life, his rise, his tragic death, and the swirling rumors surrounding Sean's Diddy combs. Instead of pointing fingers, it gives fans a raw, insider look at the tension, rivalries, and alliances that define 90s hip-hop. From Tupac's conflicts with Diddy to the infamous Quad Studios incident, the series explores the chaos, the ambition, and the questions that still haunt the music world today. This isn't just history. It's a story of power, loyalty, and mystery that keeps fans debating decades later.
That claimed, which we know wasn't true.
Yeah, check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there, with all due respect, but I appreciate you as a journalist asking. Thank you.
Because you listen, 7 years ago, I'd have been like, yo, did you hire somebody to kill Pac? But no, you do it like a journalist.
Yeah, no, I mean, we wouldn't even get into nonsense like that. You know what I'm saying? It's nonsense.
Which we never believed, by the way.
Yeah.
Director Sean Comez's The Reckoning music charts Diddy's rise to power in hip-hop, spotlighting the moments that cemented his influence long before his latest legal drama. Music the show digs into his complicated relationship with Tupac Shakur, which Tupac's cousin William Lassane says grew increasingly tense, music placing both stars squarely in the East versus West Coast battles of the 90s. Interviews reveal the pressure, rivalries, music, and shifting alliances that drove decades of speculation, including renewed conversations about Tupac's 1996 murder in Las Vegas.
Heard from the former president of Bad Boy, Kirk Burroughs, who alleged during this time, Diddy had him hiring a whole bunch of people and getting cars to drive to Las Vegas. And he is now very curious into why Diddy wanted to do this. And he said, in his opinion, he now believes that Diddy was behind taking out Tupac.
William doesn't hold back describing the sharp, deep-rooted tension between Tupac and Diddy. Music, he notes that Tupac's rising independence might have rattled Diddy. Rather than blame anyone, Music William urges viewers to see the bigger picture, highlighting the chaos around the 1994 New York massacre and questioning how much anyone really knew at the time. Music veteran Gene Deal adds that the fierce competition among artists only intensified the instability in hip-hop's golden era.
Puff took Tupac blueprint and changed Biggs and Bad Boy in image. I Get Around, talked about how fly you was, how many girls you mess with, how many cars you drive, how much money you got, what you willing to do. He took his image. Pac was the first one on the scene wearing Versace shirts. He went and got the same Versace shirts Pac had. Which, all right, some dudes would do that. You would never catch me wearing something else, something that somebody else got. He was knocking down all the women that he thought Pac was knocking down. And what I mean is having sex with them. Why would you want to have sex with women you know for sure a dude that was once cool with you was dealing with?
Tupac's brother Mopim adds that the circumstances of Tupac's death demand further investigation, Music stressing that the full cultural context and all the key players from that turbulent time music need to be examined to get the real story.
Comment saying that you want to see how serious the Vegas PD is going to take this case, because Keefe D is people that he name dropped that you want to see if they're going to investigate.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm curious to see how they plan to deal with the case, because he, in his own admissions, mentions other people. You know, are they going to say what happened to these people? Yes, Puffy being one of them. I don't know where that's going to lead, but I do believe there were accomplices. And I don't think all of them have been looked at. So, you know, because over the years, you know, it's a lot of years, you know, amongst the family, we talk, we want to figure it out too. We thinking certain things too. So, you know, we're waiting to see if we can trust this process. I feel like it's bigger because I haven't heard anything about that part of the story from the prosecutor's office. I haven't heard anything about Puffy from the prosecutor's office, even though Keefe D implicates him on these videos that they claim they're using to indict him. Even you got a Crip affiliate from somewhere, but you still not gonna talk about the guy that he mentions by name on the thing? Yeah, I mean, you know, it's exhausting. You know, or you know, I'm waiting to see how far they go, because that's what everybody's talking about. That's what everybody's talking about. What about Puffy? You know, so it would be weird that the prosecutor's office wouldn't know and address it. That's why I don't know whether to trust this shit or not. You know,
Miss Bure notes that Tupac's brother seemed to be making a major statement in his final moments. Music that memory has stayed with him, pushing him to keep digging for the truth.
Condition, because you got so many conflicting stories, right? You got some people that say that, you know, Tupac was moving in the hospital, he was, you know, talking in the hospital, but you being there, from your point of view, how was Tupac conditioned?
By the time I got there, remember I was coming from LA. So by the time I got there, he had tubes in his throat, in his nose, in his mouth. So he ain't talked to me, not verbally. he was conscious. He was trying to talk. He did want to talk, but he didn't actually verbalize any words. Always, you know, that's going to be one of the biggest mysteries in my life, because he was trying to tell me something. He was trying so hard. He was shaking the bed. He was looking at me, you know, with his big old eyes, you know, and I know he was trying to tell me something, but I don't know.
Something else I want to ask you, because I think it would be appropriate before we get off the Vegas thing, last thing, because I know I did an interview with Napoleon, and they all gave me their reasons why Afeni pulled the plug because of his condition, but I mean, it would be more appropriate since you was his brother. Afeni, her decision to pull the plug on him, from your point of view, what made her pull the plug, respectfully?
Because he had already flatlined a couple of times. And she didn't want him to keep going through that. I think it was like twice before she, you know, let him go. And that's reasonable. You know what I mean? When I was, you know, when I found out, you know.
The tension between Tupac and Diddy may have stoked the volatility of that era far more than Kirk Burroughs, a former Bad Boy exec, realized. William explains how their relationship grew strained as Tupac followed his own path and Diddy fueled Biggie's fast rise. William claims Diddy had hoped for deeper creative collabs with Tupac music, but their clashing goals created a competitive firestorm. This friction set the stage for Tupac's 1994 visit to Quad Studios, where he was violently assaulted. A moment now endlessly dissected in hip-hop history. Authorities never linked Diddy, Biggie, or others allegedly present to the attack, yet Tupac's lingering doubts continue to fuel debate among fans and insiders.
Puffy was involved in the shooting?
Only they can answer that question. I have my own opinion, but I wouldn't slander their name like they did mine. I wouldn't say things that I knew, you know what I mean? I believe so. I do believe so. I have proved things that I can say that will back up my claim, but this is not for the world to know about. You know what I mean? It's between me and him, and only he knows. So every time he say it didn't happen, or that's the only thing that makes this become an issue to everybody. Because you seen what I said in the Vibe article. I basically bowed out and was gonna go ahead about my life. The next issue, that wasn't even the next issue, because them cowards waited about 4 issues before they got their story together. 4 issues later, half of New Yorkers commenting on me getting shot. And before, they was all like, we didn't see nothing. In the first issue, we did, Vibe viewers. Nobody seen shit. The 4th issue, when they came back with a reply, everybody knew what I did. They knew what I said. I was acting. Who gets shot 5 times in acts? Oh, I didn't get shot 5 times in their vision. I only got shot once because they found the bullet. The police found it, but now they the cops. Now they doing detective work. They found the bullet. Oh, you found the bullet, huh? So what is this other shit in me then? What was the doctors talking about? What? Can you explain these other holes in me? How'd I get gunpowder all over me? That insulted my intelligence. So yes, I did say Thug Life was there. Yes, I bowed out, all of that. But when they said that,
Diddy has always denied involvement, music insisting neither he nor Biggie had anything to do with the Quad Studios attack. Yet music vet Gene Deal sees it differently, framing the incident as a reflection of the era's intense rivalries and grudges. Music the series uses these opposing takes to reveal the tangled, high-stakes web of 1990s hip-hop, where loyalty, rivalry, and ambition collided in one of the most scrutinized chapters in music history.
Okay, Quad Studios? Well, I don't think I'm not going to say he knew exactly he was going to get robbed, but he knew he was going to get dealt with. Because he was up there with Andre Harrell, and he was with Jimmy Henchman. And even though I think Pac may have owed Jimmy some money, or he was being disrespectful with Jimmy, and Jimmy ain't the type of dude that you was gonna be disrespectful for, because he had some real wolves. And Jimmy was about it himself. You know what I mean? So now, in that essence, Puff is up there in the office with him. They know they about to deal with Pac, you know what I'm saying? I don't know the extent that Jimmy told him what they was gonna do to Pac, or he's gonna get dealt with or whatever like that. But I know Puff had a whiff of what was going on.
In 2011, Dexter Isaac confessed to his role in the 1994 Quad shooting, claiming he acted on orders from a music industry insider who was present. Music, his admission, adds another layer to the mystery. Music showing just how complex and contentious this chapter of hip-hop really is.
On it. You know that he had another bracelet that was like a bicycle chain with charms on it, right? Couldn't say that, all right? He had the diamond chain on with the chain with diamonds in each length going through it, right? He had a big stone on the diamond ring and a smaller stone, one for 35,000 and the one for 20,000. All right, so even Stretch that did this shit, I took his bracelet too, and changed it and put his name, my man's name on it, and took off the name on it. So motherfuckers claiming that this even
so hold on, homie.
Claimed that he was Tupac's stepdaddy, wrote me and wanted me to have my people meet him and give him back the chain and shit, talking about some redemption shit. You know, them niggas ain't
So hold on, hey Dex. So that day that happened, November 30th, 1994, it wasn't just Tupac and Freddie Nichols. Stretch was with them too?
Stretch was with them too, yeah. Stretch set the whole shit up. He was in cahoots. He was giving us play-by-play where they was at. On their way there, he was in communication with Timmy and shit. You know, Timmy promised them two big eggs and shit.
Wow, so he sold Pac out for a quarter brick, basically.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
And
Kill boy too.
Wow. Yeah. They
Jimmy Hinchman, meanwhile, firmly denied any involvement, emphasizing just how much doubt still surrounds this period in hip-hop. Music, his denial adds yet another twist to an already tangled story.
Remember the first time I went to your office, there was a big framed picture, photograph on one of your walls, and it had Tupac on it wearing a Henchman Entertainment t-shirt. Now, a few years ago, there was a guy named Dexter Isaac that came forward who claimed that you were connected to the Tupac shooting. Do you have anything to say about that?
No, 100%. I've never ducked from answering any Tupac questions. I could understand if I don't know how Quad Studio morphed into, like I was in Vegas and was part of the shooters that actually ended in his demise. And let me say, me and Tupac were friends. And me and him were friends. I had nothing against Tupac. I liked him. He was younger than me. I'm sure that he looked up to me. There's many moments that me and Pac had that were very intimate, where he talked to me about things that he was afraid of or things that he loved to do, and all of those kind of things. Here it is, you have a prosecutor and you have a guy who's in jail for life. When they pulled Dexter down to interview him in regards to what he knew about me and Tupac and so on and so forth, I have no doubt at this point that Dexter probably was the guy or one of the assailants on Tupac. But Dexter's story just doesn't make sense. Dexter tells a story that I wanted a ring for my fiance, and so I tell him to get the diamond ring from Tupac so I can give it to my fiance, and so on and so forth. He tells this magical story. The only person that can believe such a story is Todd Kaminsky, who was the prosecutor who was trying to make something out of nothing.
William Lassane says all the info that's surfaced over the years has made him rethink the whole narrative. Music showing how intense and messy the era really was. East versus West Coast tensions only escalated, music with Diddy worrying about potential violence while Tupac fired back at perceived slights through his music. Dwayne Keefe D. Davis now connected to investigations into Tupac's 1996 death. Music also shares candid accounts from a 2008 session where he spoke freely, shedding light on rivalries, alliances, and pressure that defined the chaotic hip-hop landscape.
To make it clear, man, when Puffy came to LA, you used to give him protection, right? From the Southside Crips because he was scared of Suge Knight?
It speaks for itself, my brother. He was playing chess, and I guess we was playing checkers, cuz.
So he was really scared of Suge Knight like that, yo?
That's what it looked. That's what it sounded like. Yeah. Yeah.
Keith D recalls being alarmed by the escalating hostilities, noting that the feud between Tupac and his rivals grew even more intense after Haim up-dropped. Music, he remembered conversations reflecting the high stakes and tense, sometimes violent mood of the time. These stories highlight just how competitive and volatile hip-hop had become, music exposing fear, rivalry, and turmoil that gripped its biggest stars.
You've actually said there was a story about a hit.
Right.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so there's, let's see, Keefe D claims that there is this ongoing conversation. It happens on 3 different occasions. But most specifically when he and Puffy are at this place called Greenblatt's Deli on Sunset. And they're there. Things have spiraled out of control. Puffy's really concerned about, the welfare is his safety. And he tells Keefe D, man, I just need you to take care of this situation with Suge and Tupac. It's out of control. Tupac's on vinyl talking about killing all of our kids when they grow up, and it's just become this really serious conflict. And he says, I just need you to take care of him. And Keefe D's like, that's no problem. That's what we do. And so an agreement was made, according to Keefe D, for an amount of money, and they kind of just let it go at that point in time. But of course, Keefe D knows in the back of his mind, this is what Puffy wants done. And they all end up out in Las Vegas. Suge's out there.
Well, before you say that, there's a couple things I want to talk about from Vegas. So when you say that Keefe got offered an amount of money, according to him, was there a dollar amount?
Yeah, so there was a dollar amount. But I think that, the nuances of this conversation are that, like, man, I'll give you $1 million, whatever it takes. It's like exaggerated speech. But of course, when we interview Keefe D, he's like, yeah, that's the agreement amount, was $1 million.
So according to Keefe, he's claiming that Puffy offered him $1 million to kill Suge or Tupac?
Both of them. Yeah, both their names came up. And according to Keefe D, he says, Tupac's put himself on the list by all the talking that he was doing. But it was really about Suge, because it was Suge's muscle that...
Beyond these conflicts, Diddy has long been at the center of rumors about other major hip-hop incidents. Music, the doc explores how the era's competitive and suspenseful atmosphere was shaped by these circulating stories, real or exaggerated, keeping fans guessing for decades.
That Diddy paid him $1 million to try to take out Tupac and Suge Knight. Investigators early on already zeroed in on Keefe D because he is the uncle of Orlando Anderson, who was the main suspect in Tupac's unaliving. During this time, they believe that Keefe D was also in Vegas, and this is things that we have heard him say over the years in his multiple interviews, and one reason why he's on trial for the unaliving of Tupac. But then investigators really started to get curious when they found out that Keefe D was at the Peterson Museum the night that Biggie was unalived. Back in 1997, at the height of this investigation, police actually raided Keefe D's house for gang activity, and they seized one of the vehicles that were at his house because it matched the Chevy Impala description of the person who drove away after Biggie was unalived.
Keefe D was a shot caller for the Southside Crips and the uncle of Orlando Anderson. It was determined that Keefe D had been in Las Vegas along with his nephew Orlando the night Tupac was shot. Additionally, Keefe D's name had come up in the original Biggie investigation when it was discovered that he was at the party at the Peterson and he had access to a Chevy Impala.
After Tupac was shot, there was rumors on the street
that Bad Boy Records owes the Southside Crips $1 million.
After seizing Keefy D's vehicle and raiding his house for gang activity, this is when investigators would first try to question Keefy D if he had any involvement in Biggie's unaliving. And at this point in time, he really didn't talk, and he told them that they were barking.
Kirk Burroughs recalls the bizarre events the night Tupac was shot, including the group's independent trip to a Mike Tyson fight, which added a wild twist. Music his memories highlight Diddy's consistent denials, which Las Vegas police never seriously pursued. The documentary digs deep into the rivalry and tension defining Tupac and Diddy's relationship, music capturing ambition, conflict, and scrutiny that still sparks debate decades later.
That's a similar story to what I heard from somebody that I know is not, I know she's not lying because she had no reason to lie. First, she told me she saw somebody doing something to him, and she walked in and she thought, he didn't, he never said nothing. He didn't even acknowledge her. So she's thinking she's under the radar. Next thing, she's hanging out in Miami, and, she comes back and says she don't know what happened, and she woke up, and so,
What did she say she saw?
Someone giving him head. That's as far as I'll go, and then you could do the math.
Were they famous? Did she say they were famous?
Oh, no, they wasn't famous. They was an assistant working with her. Yeah. So.
An assistant. I want to guess, but I'm not.
She didn't tell me who no, it's not somebody that you would know. It was somebody that, she came there, she worked doing photography and, some type of media work where they shot ads and things like that. They were there to work, and she walked in the wrong bathroom and caught the wrong thing.
Oh, wow.
So, she got drugged. It probably was some videotapes made to tell her to shut the hell up and don't repeat what she saw.
The doc goes beyond Tupac's death, examining Diddy and Biggie's friendship and questioning how genuine their bond really was. Those close to them say Music the Truth was far more complex, revealing the tangled mix of tension, ambition, and loyalty that defined one of hip-hop's most iconic partnerships.
Burroughs, I want to go back to this interview that he did with Rolling Stone. He said that Diddy, he was jealous of the relationship between Tupac and Big. And he also went on to say that Diddy, he wanted to be friends with Tupac, but Tupac wasn't interested.
Diddy and Tupac was friends at first, bro. I remember the time me and Diddy rolled up to Pac in, I think it's what's the name of that club? The Roxy. There was some kind of concert going on, and they was talking and everything. They had a friendship. I don't know why their friendship fell out. Their friendship was before before Biggie and Pac. So I don't know why they fell out. I know every girl that Tupac had, Puff wanted and got. So did he have jealousy? Yeah, he had a jealousy of Pac. But I think that it was more so that he knew Big was the meal ticket, and that Pac wanted Big to be with him with Thug Life, but he didn't have the money at the time. And when Big got the money from Puff, Pac gave him the blessings to go with him, but he also told Big that he had to watch Puff because Puff was gonna rob him blind.
So you believe Kirk Burroughs when he say that, Diddy, he was jealous of the relationship between Tupac and Big?
I don't know if I could say he was jealous with his relationship with Big. He didn't like Pac. It's something that happened between Pac and him that he didn't like.
All in all, the documentary paints a vivid picture of fierce rivalries, high-stakes tension, music, and intricate relationships in 1990s hip-hop. Disputes involving Biggie, Diddy, music, and Tupac-fueled speculation for decades. While it raises questions about the era, it doesn't prove wrongdoing, leaving viewers to decide for themselves. Drop your thoughts in the comments below.